Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to introduce a new segment to my channel, and I would like to talk a little bit more about astrology. So I thought I'm going to have this segment when I'm going to talk about astrology of the next upcoming month from the perspective of tropical astrology, so Western astrology, which most likely most of you hear about, but also from the real sky, so true sidereal astrology, which if any of you know, both of these systems do not really align anymore. Astrology and astronomy used to be sister sciences, and they used to go hand in hand. So any astronomer could also be an astrologer and vice versa. Right now, Western astrology, tropical astrology, doesn't really reflect the real sky anymore. It's a fixed system. It still works really well on Earth because it's connected to solstices and to equinoxes. But because of the precession and wobble of the Earth, the stars are actually moving 1 degree every 72 years. And after 2000 years, we kind of split from what actually is happening in the sky, what we visually see in the sky, in the stars. And the Western astrology just reflects much more what's happening on Earth. So both systems, why I still do both systems, because I think earthly perspective is really important for us. Like Western astrology works really well for tracking the transits in your life, for checking, for the psychological insights. If you're interested in psychological astrology, it works really, really well. It's harmonious, so it's really well organized. It's much easier to track time. Maybe that's why it was a device, who knows, for, locking us in a certain type of time. So, there's all these different theories, but I have been a tropical astrologer for nearly since 2005. So what is it, like 24 years? And I have to say that I just cannot, even if I don't agree with many, I don't like that it doesn't reflect the real sky. And I don't agree with many ways that tropical astrology works right now. It still works. And I'm saying it with, hand on my shoulder, like on my heart, because I've been doing tropical astrology readings for so long, and I usually do readings for strangers, right? Like for clients. So I've been practicing astrology for all this time, or not all this time, since 2014. And I have to say that, like, it just still surprises me that it works so well. That's why I think for this incarnation on Earth, tropical astrology still works really well. But if you start learning about your evolutionary path, if you want to stay in tune with the organic, natural timing, I highly recommend learning what stars actually are influencing the zodiac signs on the ecliptic, because you can combine somehow these two systems. For now, that's where I am. I'm in this in between. I still love tropical, and I really love a lot true sidereal. So for me, work-wise, it's so much easier to use tropical. If I was learning Vedic before, I would probably be using Vedic, but I learned tropical, and it works. As I say, it works really well for me. It still works. But I'm influencing and seeing the influences of the organic time on the tropical, and that's how I started incorporating the celestial, the true sidereal, into my astrological practice. For now, I still have two separate readings. The life path reading, which is tropical, and spiral reading, which is only true sidereal. But at some point, maybe I'm going to connect two or get rid of one. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But anyway, let's see what's happening in August through the lens of true sidereal and tropical astrology. Okay, I hope you can see this. So I'm not going to be talking about everything what is happening this month in this video, of course, because of the time. But we definitely will be speaking about the new moon, which is happening on 4th or 5th of August, depending where you live. We're going to talk about Mercury retrograding in August, and we're going to be talking about full moon that's happening on 19th of August. So let's start with this new moon. So most of you will hear that this new moon is in Leo. So yes, in tropical astrology, it goes through the part of the ecliptic that's assigned to Leo. So we call it like Leo season. And this new moon happens on 12 degrees 34 minutes. So if you follow tropical astrology, see where 12 degrees for 34 minutes lie in your chart in Leo. And new moon is always about seeding new intentions. And it works in the very short cycles, like this new moon to full moon and so on. So 29 day cycle, or it can work in the longer cycle, like 6 month cycle to the full moon, and then going longer. So in the tropical astrology, the new moon is in the zodiac sign of Leo, but it is actually in the stars of Cancer. So this new moon, it's not going to be full force Leo energy, in my opinion. It's going to be influenced by the stars of the Cancer constellation. And astrological realm, which is another thing that I keep using, it's based on the holistic astrological cards from Karni Zor. And you can see the review of this deck, and you can study with Karni as well. This information I learned from her. She's got a course. I will link it below if you're interested. She has divided the astrological wheel into 12 realms, because she uses sidereal positions, so like Vedic astrology. So she uses still 12 signs. But she looks at the sky as the chunks of sky. So she doesn't just look at the constellation that's on the ecliptic, because if you look at the sky, there is so much more to see, right? Like where the Cancer, let's say, constellation is, we have constellations and different stars below and above and on the sides, right? So the chunk of the sky, Karni calls a realm, and the Cancer realm, because it's Cancer stars, it's called the realm of giving. So in Leo energy, in tropical astrology, all we want to embrace, it's self-expression, creativity, all this stable fire, fixed fire energy. Leo energy is very jovial, it's big energy, it's creative, it wants us to express our passions, it wants us to express what we love. It rules heart chakra, so like following our hearts, what is our true passion. It also is connected to inner child work. So a lot of this type of I sense with the mixture of Cancer and Leo, like the family dynamics might come up, and when are we behaving like children, and where do we need to adult up, or vice versa, where maybe we have been conditioned to always be adults, and how can we embrace our inner child more. I think these topics will be important for this new moon, and because of this mix of Leo and Cancer, I kind of chose couple of expressions, what this new moon could what can you evoke during this new moon energy. And I said, like, nurture, Cancer, self-expression, Leo, express, Leo, love and care for your loved ones, Cancer, do what you love, do, Leo, what you love, Cancer, and remember your creative spark and follow your heart's desire, releasing insecurity, possessiveness, and fears of rejection. Actually, both of these signs deal with rejection in different ways. So Leo deals with rejection. Shadow of Leo is shyness, when Leo is asked to take the rightful place of an empowered individual in their lives, or on the other side of the coin is pride and arrogance, when, it's like, look at me, I'm the fucking best Leo on the scene. So you will see two different types of a shadow of Leo. Sometimes the meekness and actually total lack of courage and shyness, or like the over the top Leo, egotistical type of personality. So both of these reactions actually go down to fear of rejection or lack of self-confidence. So here we would like to use Cancer emotional intelligence to recognize, where we sit on the spectrum. Breasts, chest, pancreas, and stomach is ruled by Cancer. So during this new moon, a lot of people might just take a look around this area of the body if anything shows up there. Heart exhaustion and inflammations is connected to Leo. So both of these energies might show up. For those people who are a little bit more astrologically minded, if you're not, you can skip this part and go to the next section. But this is the tropical astrology's new moon. So it's on 12 degrees Leo. New moon, always sun and moon very at the same degree, right? So you cannot really see the moon. So new moon dark in the sky, right? Because the sun blinds it. And this new moon is sextiling, which is a supporting aspect. Jupiter and Mars conjunction in Gemini. And it's interesting that this Jupiter and Mars conjunction in Gemini, Gemini loves sharing its information, it's giving you news, and it can be big news. And Mars also fiery news, Mars is the god of war. There might be like big manipulation around news as well. But from the very positive side, this is great for writers. This is great for people who want to share something, who want to put something out there, because this energy of the new moon can be perfect seeding and supporting soil for anything that you would like to share with others. And it's quite an active energy here. And this new moon also is actually trining the North Node. So not only is new moon the new stage, new seeds, something that we would like to maybe manifest or embrace in our lives, and it's trining it gets very supportive energy from nodal axis. So this new moon in Leo trining North Node in Aries, and this North Node is on 9 degrees Aries. And let's go to the true sidereal astrology. So as you can see in true sidereal, it actually reflects the sky. So we're seeing that constellations have different sizes, that there is 13 constellations on the ecliptic through which the sun goes. Scorpio and Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, share parts of the ecliptic, which usually is just given to Scorpio. We lose the oppositions that, perfect harmonious system of truth or of tropical. And here we see that the new moon is happening with the sun and moon moving through the constellation, through the stars of Cancer. The aspects become the same. So skip the houses and everything because this is for Poland, but it is sextiling the Mars and Jupiter, this time in Taurus. And I want you to look at life and look what's happening in the news, because Taurus is an earth sign and we have Uranus, Mars and Jupiter in earth sign. Uranus is already shaking our financial system, our security, our stability, and Mars and Uranus energy, and then Jupiter that expands everything, makes everything bigger. I think there might be some seismic shifts. There might be some volcanoes that go off or some earthquakes. It's a very combustible kind of impulsive and kind of shaky combination. It is in a supportive aspect to the new moon. So hopefully whatever shakes helps us to introduce something, something has to go so that something new can come in. But changes for us humans are never very easy. So yeah, and then the north node in the real sky, actually north node is in Pisces and south node is in Virgo. Whereas in tropical, we have north node in the sign of Aries, because now the stars of Pisces actually project onto the fixed Aries, because stars are moving. The ecliptic got like split in 12 parts and it's fixed, right? So just if you need to understand more about it and you think like, what the fuck, like this is too confusing, don't worry about it. It took me a long time. I'm still learning, and I just find it fascinating. And I think it's important to know that the tropical astrology doesn't reflect the real sky anymore, okay? It reflects the seasons on Earth as fixed to solstices and equinoxes, but that actually didn't include precessional movement, as I mentioned, and just split from the sky. So you probably would be a different, not all of you, but a lot of us would have a different sun sign if we looked at the stars. So I'm doing this true sidereal astrology readings as well. If you want to know what stars actually, what constellations were active during your birth, you can get one of those readings to check. I love Sabian symbols, and I used to study actually with Linda Hill. She's I don't know, I'm on Canva and it just makes this. Linda Hill, she's an Australian astrologer. She wrote a book, The Sabian Symbol as an Oracle, which is a really cool book. And of course, I've been using Dane Ruggier, blocking me out. Dane Ruggier astrological mandala. And this is like a staple for Sabian symbols. We have all the other symbols as well, but we stick to the Sabians. So it's interesting that for the new moon, Leo 12 something, we round up the Sabian symbols. The Leo 13 is an old sea captain rocking himself on the porch of his cottage. It actually feels very fucking Cancer, because it's the symbol is actually a third phase of mental development. Leo 11 was like a child kind of energy. Leo 12 was an adult, and then Leo 13 is an old sea captain. So it's speaking about elderly, it's speaking about elderhood, about aged people, right? So need for quiet reflection. And Cancer is actually a sign of memory. It's a sign that speaks about our ancestry, biological DNA, families. It's melancholic about the past. It loves to look back, memorize things about family members and things like this. So looking back at our lives and reminiscing about our past experiences. So that's interesting that that's something that's can be coming up around this new moon energy on the 4th. Retirement, pensions, older age might be subjects that will, be in the limelight, or things, because it's new moon, it's not visible, might be something that's like seeding, and there might be changes around this. Peace at last, because the old captain is like rocking himself on the porch of his house, right? So he seems to be kind of like happy about what he's doing. Maybe he's looking back at his life thinking, I've lived a good life, right? So there might be stuff for us, like it can be an advice to take a stock of our life, especially because Mercury will be retrograding a day after the new moon. So there is this, like with retrograding Mercury, it's a rethink, reschedule, everything rare. So it's like go back and check everything, right? So there might be this tendency for us to, or advice or encouragement to rethink, like how we are, like if we were to become old captain on the porch, like how would we want to look back at our lives? So in some way become our future ancestors, and like see what would we like to leave behind. Could be also feeling tired and reluctant to get on with one's job. It can lead to feelings of failure and missed opportunities. And this is a little bit more connected to Leo energy, because Leo can get very afraid of failure, and sometimes it just becomes shy or withdraws, just like Cancer as well, but for other reasons. So this is an energy. The Sabian symbols always give us like maybe a little bit more or a different take on what the energy can be influenced by. And then the full moon is on 19th of August. This is the CET time, so Central European time. And this full moon is fully Aquarius, okay? So the moon moves and is activated by the stars of constellation of Aquarius. And in tropical astrology, I think it's on 1 degree or no, it's on one, like it's just begins going into the constellation of Aquarius. In tropical, it's on Aquarius 27 degrees, 15 minutes. So it's like kind of at the end, but doesn't matter. It's still Aquarian energy. So the new moon, it was a little bit of a split energy between Sun and Moon, Leo and Cancer, whereas the full moon is Aquarian all the way around. And astrological realm for the full moon is called waterfall, when we receive from the celestial energies, we becoming a channel and we grounding that energy into the earth, into the body, into the physical manifestation. So Aquarius is fixed air. The new moon was fixed fire. So we are moving around the fixed quality. Fixed quality loves stability. It doesn't want to change, right? It's middle of seasons when everything is kind of sorted. We know it's spring now. It's not the beginning. It's not the end when we're moving and mixing with the next season. So fixed energy doesn't necessarily, it's not very prone to change. But Aquarius, it's a very futuristic sign. It's actually loves liberty, equality, fighting for equal rights for everyone. It's a very liberal type of energy, and it's original. It likes to think outside of the box. So this full moon can bring us a lot of maybe just surprising subjects. I wrote here avoiding excessive detachments, because Aquarians are very logical. They quite scientific, so they like to have proof, and they can detach from emotions. So often we can also feel collectively during this full moon, and we want to dissociate, we want to detach emotionally. And if it's excessive detachment, it might also, rob us of actually going with the flow and observing life and being part of life. So avoid excessive detachment, futuristic and original solutions to problems. That's what can come up and be enlightened by the light of the moon. Humanitarian attitude, friends and community focused, like Aquarians are very helpful, and they like beacons for social change. So a lot of Aquarian people are like social workers. They want to improve what's not working, and they very good friends. They oriented, community oriented. So I always call them, I see hermits, with the lantern, leading parts of societies wherever they, whatever gifts they have. Objectivity and quirky sense of humor, that's Aquarian type of energy. Fear of involvement that goes together with this excessive detachment. Erratic behavior in Aquarians are not grounded. They can get very energy, so it's quite erratic, can be quite arrogant in a way, or cold. They can cut away their emotions. Inflexible opinions, because it's fixed air, so it doesn't like changing. So sometimes they might be stubborn, like Tauruses or Scorpios or other people. And then Aquarius rules ankles, calves, circulation, varicose veins, and cramps in the body. So if we look at this full moon, it's much more complex energy, even though by the stars and tropical and realms, it's like one chunk of the sky, we all there. So it's quite a pure Aquarian energy. But Sun is also conjunct Mercury retrograde. So Moon is opposing Mercury. So there could be like emotionality around this full moon. Full moons are usually much more emotional than new moons, for example. Everything it's much more accentuated. We relate to how the moon changes phases, and when it's full, it's either time for celebration or for time depending on our emotional state, for like bursting out, if things can't be held anymore. We can cry, we can go a bit wacko when it comes to emotions. And this full moon is also squaring Uranus. So it's a very tight square. Full moon in tropical, as I said, it's happening on 27 degrees Aquarius and Leo. It's with Mercury, and it squares Uranus that moved to 27 degrees Taurus. And we know that on 26 degrees Taurus, it's Algol, which is in the constellation of Perseus, but it projects onto 26 degrees on the ecliptic. So Algol is still very much activated. You can watch back. There is a video I did on Algol. I think there's still like this deep dealing with this unfairness of life. We all feeling like how things in the big collective waves, whatever is unfair and just gets us, there is this pureness of human spirit. And I think we all feel it, that things go off, and like there's this frustration that wants to like fix things. And it's really important because we, again, dealing with fixed energy, the groundedness and embodying and being okay with holding this discomfort. It's really, really important. This full moon is also, during the full moon, there is Venus opposition Saturn as well, which could make, Saturn is always giving you limitations. Venus is in Virgo, so she's also quite like critically attuned. And also I feel like there's still this like feminine against the system. Venus in Virgo, to me, it's very much of the goddess Virgo, goddess energy. And we have that system of Saturn in Pisces, that kind of old epoch, like crashing again, and what's happening in the States again about these abortions and stuff. It's just like this ongoing story. And then that squares the moon squaring Medusa and Uranus. It's, there is a burst of fresh approach, new energy. It's very hard to contain and like follow the old system right now. And because we've changed, like we are changing, we are moving into the age of Aquarius, the new cycle beginning, but the old cycle is ending, and we're in this in between. So yeah, Mars and Jupiter also square that Saturn and Venus. So there's quite a full complex full moon going on. What we need to just remember maybe from this full moon, Aquarius is known for that objectivity. So as the new moon, Cancer and Leo are very personal, they're emotional. We kind of feel maybe very involved emotionally. This full moon, when things start evolve, is asking us to stay objective and learn as much as possible, not to get so involved that we lose our, we're always subjective as well, but like stay as much as possible to the center of things, because Aquarian energy, the gift of Aquarius is to see things more objectively, not be so be detached, not be so attached to the personal outcome that you become biased and you don't see, that yes, it's good for me, but well, it's not good for 50% of other people. So Aquarius asks us to be a bit more objective about things. And in the real sky astrology, here's the sun in constellations of, I said Leo, but the moon is in the constellation of Aquarius, 1 degree, right? So as I said, like that's the beginning of Aquarius, and in tropical astrology, the end of Aquarius. But the rest, the aspects are the same. So Sabian symbols for this full moon. So the full moon is on 27 something Aquarius. That's where the moon is. So the Sabian symbol for the moon is a tree felled and sawed to ensure a supply of wood for the winter. And that's an interesting one when we look at the opposing degree of the sun. Many little birds on the limb on a large tree. So 1 degree of the moon, the more emotional one, says something that we cutting off the tree. And then the other one, the sun, is like lots of birds sitting on the tree. So you can feel that there is this opposing forces. One wants to cut the tree, one wants to keep the tree and sit on the tree and chat about the tree, right? So there can be this like big opposing forces that are coming up, especially with this Uranus there, also like, revolutionizing things and making things uncomfortable. You can't just keep the old system running. It's really starts crumbling. But this system, this symbol asked us to use our knowledge and skill for the satisfaction of vital basic needs. It's intelligent foresight. It's intelligent use of natural resources. As I said, Aquarius is quite futuristic. Maybe we'll also come up with some ideas about the nature resources and how to, introduce new ways of dealing with resources, distributing resources, and so on. Shifting values that we place on our environment and the tools we use. Also, it was one of the symbols that's actually giving us a very practical advice about gathering your resources up when you can. Don't wait for the last moment. And I was reading this and I thought, maybe I should go to the shop and buy some more toilet paper, like kind of COVID memory. And maybe we need to be prepared, not necessarily for stocking up like crazy, but just have some things in place in case you can't get some stuff. Ensure what things are in order for the winter. So it's like a wise preparation that your affairs are in order. Put your affairs in order. Again, very good symbol for publishing of books and renewable resources. And add to this opposing symbol of many little birds on the limb of a large tree. This one says that we can be overwhelmed with possibilities, which can be confusing because it's the multiplicity of inspiring potentialities, right? Consciousness that feels flooded with greater realizations and new forms of self-expression. This can be very exciting, but also quite confusing. So I feel like there is this big shift happening, and around full moon, the choice might be really up to you. Like, how will you use it? Because you can get confused, overwhelmed, like fucking detached. I don't want to hear about this with these possibilities. So yeah, it's really up to us to see if we're overwhelmed, if we can do something, if we can't do anything. It may be necessary to limit one's field of vision and activity and enjoy the lightness of this time. So I feel like with energy of Aquarius, there will be a lot of downloads and the energy will be zig, zig, zig. It's air and fire, Leo fire, Aquarius moon, air, and it is lightness. It's combustible. It can be very joyous, and frequency of it can be very like new codes might be coming through. So gathering with like-minded people, sharing ideas, and maybe limit your field of vision. You don't have to take on everything that's happening in the world, but be mindful of what your intake is. And again, let's see, cutting the tree, lots of little birds meeting, databases, multi-level marketing, big business, internet. We had this crowd finding what is it, the internet fuck up that went up. Again, internet chat groups, books, tapes, too much info. That all is around this energy of the full moon. And here are just some images to finish off. We have moon new moon in Leo. So moon is a mixture of Cancer anyway, and sun is the mixture of Leo. So you have the mixture of sun and moon in this new moon in Leo. And new moon in Cancer is very watery, right? So here we have water, fire kind of combined. Much more passion and feeling comfortable in the body, expressing. And new moon in Cancer, it's always a little bit, this is a weird image. This is from Astro Tarot, but it gives us the pain of birthing and maybe running away from our emotions. Again, this working with inner child, not rejecting parts of us that are uncomfortable. And this full moon in Aquarius, we have Heron, we have that pearl, that, you know, when the pearl, it's like through friction that this beauty comes through. And I think we are in this frictionless time anyway. So getting adjusted to this comfort, taking it in, because we are coming out of the shell. These astrological realms that I mentioned, learned from Carney Zor and her holistic astrological cards, and her course will be linked below as well. The realm of giving for the new moon, great time to share what we have learned and be generous with people with whatever gifts we have. Giving ensures that we will never be too full or arrested in our development. Release what is no longer of use for you. Share it with others. Give away ceremonies. So it might be a really great idea for this new moon to reflect back on your life and see, what gifts do I have? How can I share them with others? Willingly, gracefully. Also, if I have a lot of stuff or a lot of things or a lot of smiles, I want to share them with others. It's a good time to do the stock take and maybe clear away things. So then if the full moon comes, we have our affairs in order, we prepared, and we can restock with whatever we need then. And the keyword from Carney's book said, or the affirmation, there's always more treasure in me to give. And then for the full moon, we're in the realm of the waterfall, which is the Aquarian realm. And we are conduits, like this woman here, conduits for the subtler realms. And it's important to keep our channels clear. So if there is this multiplicity of possibilities, there might be a lot of chatter, a lot of decisions, a lot of information. It's really great to be in your center. Keep grounded, 1 foot on earth, 1 foot in water, like the star card. Most of our problems stem from attachments, and this energy is about becoming more objective and neutral, so we can convey what wants to come through without a bias. Be like a waterfall, also clear energetically. Keep your energy clear. See what you put into your mouth, but most importantly, what comes out of your mouth. The timing of passing the knowledge is important for the message to get across. Sometimes people are just not ready to receive it. Sometimes we can bang on about something, but if people are not ready, they're not going to hear it. But at some point they will. Just keep objective about it, know your mission, and just stick to it. This realm speaks of possibility of a very high state of awareness, so new qualities of energy can be coming through. And the affirmation for the full moon is, I leave myself behind as I open for the future, or to the future. Let's just finish with Mercury retrograde. So it's happening actually fully in the stars of Leo constellation. So again, the self-expression, sharing the passion, maybe a bit of arrogance, maybe a little bit of ego drive. So here, very interesting to see, where is your passion? Where is your heart at? Where is the solar plexus? How to strengthen these two chakras, if any of them is overactive, underactive. In tropical astrology, the Mercury stations retrograde on August 5th in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and in stations direct on 28th of August in the zodiac sign of Leo on 21 degrees. There is something called pre-retrograde period. So from 16th of July, where we had the conjunction of Mars and Jupiter and Mars, Uranus and Algol, and that was 16th of July. So this is where Mercury started being in the shadow, and then post-retrograde shadow period until 11th September. Mercury retrograde is a good time to reflect, rethink, evaluate, and so on. In Virgo, the themes are around health, diets, body awareness, day-to-day work, writing, systems, analysis, our power of analysis, and critical thinking is great at this time. So also just be mindful about the inner critic because it can be quite demanding. And Mercury in Leo, self-expression, themes of the new moon that we mentioned, remembering things about ourselves, saying what needs to be said, empowered communication and inner child work. Okay, so Mercury stations retrograde on the 5th of August, and it's conjoining Venus. So there might be also some themes, relational themes coming up, things around beauty, money, and so on. So Virgo 5, because that's the tropical degree is Mercury is on 405 Virgo. So we round up to 5. Virgo 5 is a person becoming aware of nature spirits and normally unseen spiritual energies. Such a beautiful Sabian symbol for Mercury retrograde. I think it asks us to take time out, to take time to connect with nature, to take time to hear and listen messages that are not the first loud info news that we're hearing, but read between the lines, like really tune in to more natural state of being. The symbol implies strong feelings of another level of awareness. Could be also about creative fantasies, fairy tales, seeing things or just imagining them, fantasizing about people or experiences, very attuned mind, seeing different entities, fairies, nature spirits, the caution, confusion, and lack of true perspective. So this happens just after the new moon. And new moon's degree was Leo 13, which was, the old captain, right? So losing the plot, mental institutions not being taken seriously, schizophrenia, being a space cadet, that could be the shadow of this symbol with Mercury retrograde. So there might be like just a conscious introduction or conscious infusion of false information, of confusing facts. You are really asked these days to stay quite objective, be Aquarian and Virgo about it, and like discernment, use discernment and check what's true. And what's true will resonate with you. You will always recognize the truth. It sits deeply, resonates with the heart chakra. So Mercury stations direct on Leo 21. This was the degree that moon was in when Mercury went retrograde. Sabian symbol for that degree is a carrier pigeon. And this symbol speaks about messages being actually delivered or somebody being trained and influenced to deliver the messages, because these pigeons used to be trained, right, to deliver messages. So again, it's all very heady energies around this Mercury retrograde, and call for discernment, call for some healing that can come through being especially attuned to natural timing, to natural way of things, to really listening what's being said, often beyond the words that you can hear. I'm going to move past the stars because it's just too long for this video, but what I offer is the real sky. So true sidereal spiral astrology video is this one here with the angel calling you, because it's your evolutionary path, but also tropical astrology, which I call life purpose for this incarnation. What's important? This is we held within this 4 or 5 elements, right? So you can find them on tarotmap.com, and you can find me on YouTube, on Instagram at tarotmap, email, and my website, tarotmap.com. Thanks for listening. I know it was a lot, but I hope for people who are interested in astrology, you can, while I will be introducing once a month these cycles, you can start learning a little bit more. And for people who just like want to see what's this about and this about, you can get some food for thought from this video. So thank you for watching, and I speak to you soon. Bye.